G'day everybody, Born from Grave Forsaken here. It's Saturday 1st of February 2025 and we've got a very special guest here today. We've got Luke.
How you going?
Luke's over from Nashville. So Luke is a long-term Grave Forsaken member who's now living over in America, but he's back in Perth. So just for a couple of weeks. So we're catching up with Savo and it's been really cool. So good to have you here, Luke.
Good to be here.
We thought, like, while you're here and it's Saturday, perfect timing to do the latest Grave Forsaken video update. So I hope you've been watching the video updates in Nashville.
I've been watching almost all of them.
All of them? That's cool. And the podcast?
The podcast I've been listening to the most.
So Luke's been telling me how he's been keeping up with Grave Forsaken news while he's been over in Nashville to listen to the podcast and getting all the information through these updates and podcasts. So that's really cool to hear. We really miss you over here, Luke. Very happy for you with your career in Nashville going well, but we miss you over here as well. So it's been great catching up this afternoon and having you here. Just been really stoked with that.
No, it's good to be here.
Yeah, and we're just hanging out this afternoon, and I said, hey, I'm doing the video update tonight. It literally occurred to me while we were talking about it that maybe let's just do the video update together. What perfect, really. You know, I can't believe I didn't think of it earlier, actually. So, yeah, here we are. So Luke, years all fade, but Luke's was in the band, for pretty much 10 years or so while before he moved over to Nashville. So first album Luke did with us was Plugged Into System.
Plugged Into the System.
So that's the remix, Luke.
Was this the first one? What about Fight Goes On had some music on it too.
Are you thinking of Reap What You Sow?
Reap What You Sow.
Yeah, you played some, I think you did a guitar solo and Reap What You Sow.
What You Sow. I remember that coming home from high school and practicing the solo.
Yeah.
Because I'd never recorded with anyone before.
Yeah, so we were out at Fat Dog Studio for that.
Yeah.
And we went out there and...
So that was the first official recording credit.
Yeah, but by this time you're actually in the band. So Luke came in did the drums on this album actually because we were without a drummer. And so Luke, you'd done the stuff on Reap What You Sow, and that kind of led naturally.
I remember coming over every Monday.
Yeah,
night, we
used to rehearse on a Monday night, and that was actually recorded at our home, sort of the rehearsal room where we used to record. So
and we did a lot of gigs at the time of this as well.
Yeah, so
Luke
actually was because Luke's very talented musician who can drum and play guitar and do whatever.
Haven't drummed since.
But Luke actually played quite a few gigs for Grave Forsaken on drums. So Plugged Into System was the first one.
And now we got it in remixed.
Yeah, remix. So that's the remix with the updated artwork from Ward Silverman that's come out this year. So it's been actually cool to catch up with Luke today because I've been telling him about like the remix process because of course we can talk via text, but to actually be in person and show Luke the physical copy, that we put out. And if you look here, there's the old band shot that's taken
I look more like that these days, don't I?
From the plug. You don't actually look that different.
Maybe
we've all got 12 years on the clock since then. Yeah, yeah. Well, how old would you have been then?
Oh, I don't. What year was this?
About 2013, so about 20.
Yeah,
we're all like young. We were 12 years younger then, believe it or not. It was 12 years ago.
What do we got next?
Fight Goes On.
What a good album.
So Fight Goes On, Luke wrote most of this album. So this was recorded out at your home studio in Kalamunda. So many evenings out at your home studio recording this album. So
my brother Josh and I put a lot of time into this one.
Yeah, so Luke and Josh are brothers, as I always mention in Grave Forsaken correspondence. So this has been a good album for us, streams well, people like it. Fight Goes On, There Is No Peace, Politics of Popularity, Four Creatures, Duluth Air Base Intruder, Strike the Oppressor, God Is With Us, and Glimpse of Armageddon. There Is No Peace has had a good number of views with the video clip that was recorded out.
I remember that video.
Yeah, good fun, and that was recorded in the same room as we recorded the album. So, yeah, I just always associate you, Luke, with this album. You and Josh.
That was we all put a lot of time into this one.
We did. There was a lot of nights, and I remember like I'd get out because like an hour's drive from my house, and I remember we'd get out there. I'd often get there at like 9 o'clock at night. We'd go through to midnight or probably later than we should have, and turned up, tired at work the next day. So yeah, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into this album.
The next one's kind of like a sequel to it in a way. Not really a sequel, but I feel like these two really go together.
Oh, they do. I mean, they're recorded the same way, pretty much the same crew. Well, basically exactly the same crew. Same studio, same producer, same vibe. They're kind of back-to-back albums, weren't they? Like we kind of pretty much, we finished Fight Goes On. And
to me, I feel like this one was my Kill 'Em All.
Yeah.
But this one was more Master of Puppetsy for me.
Yeah,
at least.
And we used to talk a lot about Metallica and Megadeth and all that at the time, didn't we? Yeah, I remember, we're pretty much we're just like talking thrash metal the whole time, and just music, and it was actually really like you look back on it with real fondness, like despite whatever stuff we're going through at the time in our personal lives and whatever, like. We can never replicate those nights out in that studio. Like Luke, they had like if you've seen the There Is No Peace clip, it was like a separate room to the house. It was its own room. It wasn't even a room in the house. It was like made to be a recording studio. It was just fantastic out there, and so we could make all the noise we wanted and not disturb anybody. Well, at least as far as I knew. So It Has Begun has actually been our most successful album in terms of streams. Yeah, without doubt. And Run for Your Life is our best streamed song. So this has been a super, great release for us.
That was a good one.
And yeah, it continues to stream well. Like I think at the moment, We Stand United and Run for Your Life, which are the opening 2 tracks on the album, are our best streamed songs.
Yeah.
If not our best stream song. So this definitely has proven to be our most popular album so far, and I get that feedback a lot. So Luke, you and Josh, your contribution on this album, it's a massive contribution.
But the cool thing is that it's still very much Grave Forsaken.
Yeah, well, we were playing in that style, weren't we? We were, you were the stuff that you wrote for the album. You were writing with what had gone before in mind.
Yeah,
definitely Grave Forsaken.
And with your
songs.
lyrics and your vocals and
it was real collaborative, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
You wrote a lot of riffs and put the songs together, and then we added the Grave Forsaken touch to them as well, and great, fantastic memories. Like we were really living then, weren't we? Back in 2013, 14, 15, 16, during that era.
What do we got next?
Footsteps of God. So this was a bit of a different one. So by this time, Luke, you were going. I can't remember the exact timeline, but you were sort of starting to spend a bit of time in America.
What year was this one?
This came out in 2020 during COVID.
But
it was getting recorded sort of in the intervening. This is 2017.
This was towards the end of I live in America now, so this was towards the end of living in Australia.
Yeah, and you were going over to America for a few months at a time to sort of, start getting into the Nashville scene.
So
and
I remember
all of
recording a lot of this in Australia. I think all of this was in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
I think all of this was in Australia.
Probably, yeah, and it was like it wasn't recorded at that studio, so like this was more of a. I recorded my parts
remotely.
We all sort of did our parts for this one remotely, and sort of they came in together. I recorded the drums with Tim, and because Tim came back for this album, and you recorded them at your place, and I think you might have moved out of Kalamunda by then.
We were somewhere out in Muche.
Up north. Yeah, and so it was a bit of I remember. I don't know if it was this album or Moment in Time, but I definitely remember coming up to your place in Muche and doing some recording a few times. But
we did some stuff.
What kind of happens is, the projects in your mind sort of start to blend, because you might have songs that aren't quite finished when this album comes out, but then you finish them for the next album.
Yep.
So like with a lot of these albums, like the timeline of songs can be like a lot of songs are around for a long time before they get finalized on an album. So that came out right in the middle of COVID, The Footsteps of God. That was like 2020. And it was actually like a really good project for us to finish off and like have something come out during that time. So I've actually, it was only like 5 years ago, but I've got really good memories of the release of this because it was just cool to have something happening, you know. And like my particular memory of that was like your parts really added a lot to a lot of the songs, you know, because I did a bit more writing on this album. And
I did a lot of rhythm guitars.
Yeah, you tracked everything because I remember sending you like the chords and everything, and
you had your guitars on them as well.
Yeah, so we they're sort of both of us are on the album, and I remember you sending me rhythm tracks, and then actually got mixed. This was a real collaboration. This actually got mixed at Fat Dog Studio where we did the first few albums. So like we did Destined for Ascension there, we did This Day Forth there, we did Fight to Death and Reap What You Sow.
Yeah.
And I went back to Fat Dog to mix this. So this had a bit of everything. This actually had stuff recorded in my home studio, like remotely by you, and then mixed by Dan. So
that's a good one.
It was a real, like, very pleased with this album. Like, we really pulled together from some different places to make that one happen. Then the most recent one is, we said 4 minutes, we're up to 11.
Oh, that's fine.
That's fine. It's a bit of a longer one for you guys. It's special having Luke here. So let's make it worth it. So this is the latest one. This came out on Good Friday 2024. And so this was, similar to Footsteps of God. This was sort of collaborative over a number of years, wasn't it?
Some of these were done in Nashville.
Yeah, so I remember sending you like mixes without solos, and you added some solos. So you tracked the songs you had written before you left, and you'd done all those, and then the songs that I had written, and Elias wrote a couple of songs on this one as well. We sent them to you, and you then tracked them. So this one you did your parts remotely on the songs that you're on, and you did as always, you did a lot of great solos on this album, and all your rhythm tracks and everything. So and then once I had all the parts together sort of during 2023, I mixed this album myself. So and then that came out early 2024. So this was similar to Footsteps of God. The last two albums have been sort of like collaborations and like remotely done. We haven't, because people have been in different, in your case over in America, different parts of the world, we've had to like remote record them in and everything like that. So
it's good to still be part of it though.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. And then last year on Christmas Day, we brought out 20 Years. So
is this a cross?
Yes, it would be. So I'm guessing that's what Ward meant. Maybe he could tell us if that was exactly what he meant by the
comment below.
The symbolism, but that awesome artwork from Ward Silverman there.
Yeah.
So of course a lot of the tracks on 20 Years feature Luke, because Luke was a big part of that. So we've got just going through, you would have played on God Given Strength, Plugged Into the System, One True Way. You would have played on Fight Goes On's on there.
Anything from Reap What You Sow?
Master of the World. I don't know if that was from Reap What You Sow. I can't remember exactly what songs you did guitar. I'd have to look at the liner notes. Four Creatures you would have played on. You would have done rhythm guitars on that. We Stand United.
Affluenza was one of my favourites for a long time.
That was before that was from This Day Forth.
Yeah, I remember that. But I used to listen to that a lot in high school.
It's pretty cool to hear that. One of the songs I'm most happy with from over the years with the band was Affluenza, which part of the reason it made it onto 20 Years. We Stand United was from It Has Begun. What have we got? Warriors of the Cross.
Warriors of the Cross.
You played on that.
Yeah, I remember. I bought my first Grey Forsaken CD, Destined for Ascension. Is that the first?
No, that's Warriors of Light. You're thinking of.
Which
Warriors of the Cross is from Footsteps of God.
Okay.
So you did the solo on that song.
A different type of Warriors.
Maybe when you did it, it didn't have a name yet or something.
Yeah.
That could have happened. It Has Begun, one of my favourite Grave Forsaken songs. You wrote that. That's a good one. Reap What You Sow.
Mm-hmm.
So you were quite possibly involved with that track. Because I know you were, as you say, you were involved with the recording of that album.
Warriors of Light, After There
Temple
Is
of
No Peace.
Crucifixion, you do the solos on that.
Mm-hmm.
That's another one from Footsteps of God. But some of these songs didn't have titles when we recorded the music, so the post-production might have happened later. There Is No Peace, one of your best, and the video clip, love that song. There's Warriors of Light, that made it on there. What else? Run For Your Life, another great moment of yours, our most streamed song.
That's a good bang for buck best of.
Yeah. So like with 32 tracks available from our Bandcamp page, like a real cross section of Grave Forsaken history, that one. So that gives you a little bit of a rundown of Luke's era with the band, and we'll wrap it up there because we're getting up 16 minutes. But yeah, been great having you, Luke.
Good to
Thanks
be here,
for all your
Vaughn.
contribution to the band over the years, and
Of course.
yeah, the Grave Forsaken's going to keep rocking out, so who knows what the future holds. I'm sure you'll hear from Luke again at some point.
We'll do another one next year.
Yeah, in a year's time, we'll get Luke back on the video update. So, pretty good one, pretty special to have you here. Miss you, man, really miss you. And but great to catch up tonight. And all you Grave Forsaken supporters out there, do you want to say it?
God bless.
And rock
And
on.
rock on.